Let me tell you something. There's nothing like watching a grown woman in $400 shoes mascara running down her face, literally hurling herself at your biometric gate at 2 in the morning, screaming that your family ranch belongs to the community. I mean, if you'd told me a year ago that the HOA president next door would turn full psycho villain just because she couldn't bulldoze my great-granddad's land for a condo deal, I would have laughed in your face. But that's exactly what happened, and by the end of this story, she's broke, humiliated, and doing 3 years in federal prison. So, yeah, pull up a chair, because if you've ever had some HOA nightmare neighbor, you're about to feel very, very seen. Let's rewind for a second. Name's Dex Morrison, 45, recently divorced, 2 teenagers who think I'm hopelessly uncool ex-software engineer who finally got tired of paying Portland prices to look at a brick wall. You ever had that moment where you realize you're basically working to afford someone else's view? That was me. And then, crazy thing, Uncle Rusty died and left me $400K. Now, Rusty was a legend in our family, mostly for outsmarting bureaucrats. Guy once built a medieval trebuchet to return his neighbor's illegally parked car and somehow made it legal. I know, I checked. I figured, why not use that inheritance to give my kids something real? Found a 47-acre ranch in Millfield County, Oregon. Old timber, a creek barn with bones begging to be restored, and the price $380,000. Should have known that was a red flag, but the seller, Bill Hutchkins, just wanted to go live with his grandkids in Arizona. Tears in his eyes, shakes my hand, says, "She's been good to 3 generations. You treat her right." That first morning, October air biting but fresh, standing under those old pines, it felt like freedom. I thought maybe my luck was finally turning. That's when she showed up. Cordelia Blackthorne. Yeah, the name fits. Struts up my driveway with a clipboard in one hand and a look that could sour milk. She's the president of the Willowbrook Estates, HOA, which governs 200 cookie-cutter houses glued together by rules about grass height, doormat color, you name it. You've seen people like this, the kind who talk about community standards like it's gospel. She says, "Excuse me, you'll need HOA approval for that moving truck." I'm standing there holding my kids' bunk beds like, "Ma'am, my property isn't in your HOA." Her smile doesn't budge. She goes, "Meadowlark Lane falls under shared community standards. That truck's in violation." Starts waving this 47-page rule book with half the pages pre-highlighted. I'm trying to stay civil, but I'm already thinking of Uncle Rusty's trebuchet. "The access road predates your subdivision," I say. That's when she really loses it, pulls out her phone, takes pictures of my plates, literally measures my truck with a tape like she's CSI HOA. The next part's actually kind of scary. As she's calling city code enforcement, I notice the other residents jogging by, trying not to make eye contact. One old man actually crosses the street so he doesn't have to pass us. You could feel the fear. This wasn't just some quirky lady with a clipboard. These people were terrified of her. The war starts quick. Week 2, and I've got city inspectors showing up at dawn, citing anonymous noise complaints. I haven't even started renovating the loudest thing is the creek. Utility trucks roll up, checking for irregular usage patterns. One guy laughs when I tell him I don't even have gas service yet. My mailman Jimmy finally clues me in. Man, she's been doing this for years. Ran a single mom out last summer over inappropriate toys in her yard. So I dig a little deeper, and wouldn't you know it, Cordelia's got a history. Anyone who doesn't fit the HOA's suburban fantasy, minorities, vets, single moms, contractors with non-compliant trucks, she finds a way to drive them out. Always just a little too clever to get caught. That's when I spend a sweaty afternoon in the county courthouse, nose deep in dusty property records, and boom, my ranch predates her entire subdivision, with easement rights for the road going back to the 1940s. And in fact, the HOA's been using my road, not the other way around. You'd think that'd be the end, right? Not even close. Cordelia shows up with a fake cease and desist from her HOA lawyer demanding I paint my 80-year-old barn beige and remove my split rail fence, you know, the one from the Truman administration. I bring in Maxine, a local property rights lawyer. She laughs so hard reading Cordelia's letter, she's crying. This is harassment, she says. Start documenting everything. Cordelia's next level, though. Shows up while I'm having coffee on the porch, spits out, "You think you can ignore our standards?" Then, in a whisper, I know exactly who you are. Dex Morrison. Divorced, unemployed, living off inheritance. What kind of example is that for children? She'd gone through my divorce. My background stuff only available through, I don't know, cyber stalking or worse. That was it for me. Gloves off. She'd park sideways across my access road at 6 a.m., blocking me in. Leaves passive-aggressive sticky notes on my windshield. Community harmony requires individual sacrifice in her perfect school teacher cursive. I started collecting them, stacking up a pile like evidence in a crime drama. Then I meet Javier at the hardware store. He's got his own Cordelia horror stories, but here's the twist. His cousin does landscaping for the HOA and hasn't been paid in months. But the HOA budget shows regular payments. Suddenly it clicks. She's skimming. Not just a control freak, she's a thief. I crank up the security, install cameras everywhere, start catching her doing her patrols, measuring my barn, taking photos, timing my day like some psycho project manager. She gets more desperate, recruiting other board members to watch my property 24/7. That's when I start digging into the HOA finances and public records, and oh boy, it's a treasure trove. Turns out Cordelia's been funneling money through a shell company, buying herself kitchen appliances, paying off a city councilman's gambling debts, the works. My engineer brain is lighting up with every bank statement and blurry Facebook remodel pic that lines up. Then it gets criminal. My well gets poison caught on camera, Cordelia and two cronies dumping herbicide. That's not HOA drama anymore, that's FBI territory. And when I connect the dots, the development company trying to buy my ranch is secretly owned by Cordelia. Councilman Bradley, who keeps fast-tracking her permits, owes her husband $50K from poker. The inspector who harassed me just got paid $15,000 from her shell company. It's all connected. We start building a coalition. Javier Rosa from the Tribune, Martha with her food truck, even my lawyer Maxine. Barn meetings, encrypted chats, neighbors who've suffered for years coming out of the woodwork, each with their own horror story. We document, organize, and prep for the takedown. Cordelia retaliates hard. Trees cut down, child services called on me, insurance fraud claims, paintball attacks on my barn mailbox torched. She even corners me at the mailbox, tries to hand me $600,000 in dirty cash, take the deal, or she'll destroy my family. My cameras catch everything. Then her own husband, desperate for divorce, gives police recordings of her plotting violence against me. The final straw, she tries to burn my barn down. But we're ready. We packed the city council meeting, over 180 people crammed inside news crews, rolling Rosa live streaming. Cordelia strolls in like she's about to accept a Nobel Prize. Instead, Rosa stands up and drops the bomb. Cordelia was arrested last night for attempted arson conspiracy, environmental terrorism. State investigators confirm it, plus embezzlement fraud, everything we've been working to prove. And then for the first time, the victims stand up. Martha tells how Cordelia tried to shut down her food truck with fake complaints. Javier explains the stolen payments and sabotage. One after another, neighbors reveal how Cordelia destroyed lives for a decade, until the cameras are capturing not just crime, but real grief and relief. I stand up with everyone watching and announce I'm donating 30 acres of my ranch for a public nature preserve in Uncle Rusty's name, protected forever from development. The place erupts. Cordelia's dragged out screaming about conspiracies, but she's done. Her empire crumbles overnight. She ends up with 3 years in federal prison for environmental crimes, 2 more for fraud. Her husband's free, the city councilman is disgraced, the HOA gets a new board and actually becomes a community again. 6 months later, my kids are building a treehouse in the same oaks Cordelia's goons couldn't kill. The old barn hosts homework sessions and block parties. My 30 acres are a park. Property values are up. The neighbors talk and laugh instead of hiding inside. The Tribune's series on our story wins awards and inspires new laws. The biggest lesson: when you stand alone, bullies like Cordelia win. When you organize, document, and fight back together, even a little ranch can take down a criminal empire. And if you're ever staring down an HOA Karen with a power complex, just remember, you might have an Uncle Rusty in your corner too. So let's hear it. Drop your own HOA horror stories in the comments. Tell me what you'd do if someone tried to steal your family land. Think justice was served, or did we go too far? Hit subscribe, and join the conversation. This fight isn't over till every last HOA Karen knows you mess with the wrong neighbor, you pay the price.